This is the Allon Exchange, how to be and stay retired with Jay and Brittany Hagee, financial advisors and the founders of Allon Planning Partners. I'm Spike Spangle. Jay and Brittany, good to see you.
Great to be here, Spike.
Good to see you too.
Oh, thank you very much. What are we talking about this week?
Well, we want to make our money work. We want to make money work for us and for you. And when folks come into the office, a lot of times they don't really have a money problem. They have a process problem. So it's how do I make all of this work together? Maybe the 5 components of financial planning we talk about, or I feel like I'm making enough money, but I don't really see it growing on the right side, right? And so how do we make your money work for you? And we start really simple with a lot of folks. And the simplicity is, do you have a spending plan? Well, we used to call it budget. And then when I bring the word budget up, it's like, oh, they'll put the handcuffs on me. I know you're trying to restrain me. No, we're trying to create a spending plan for you so you have the freedom to spend, not that you have the restraint of I can't spend, right? And so we want to make sure we're assigning every dollar a job. And so that's really where we start when we talk with folks about this making money work for you, because we want to make sure that you have a process in place to make your money work over time.
Well, and we want to also communicate that saving and investing are not the same thing.
That's right.
There's a difference between the two. So saving is typically like for your short term, safety. I need these funds here in the next few weeks or months, right? Or an emergency fund. That's true saving. But investing is more for growth. Investing is for long-term purpose, right? Like what are our long-term goals? And a lot of folks ask, where do I begin? What does this actually look like? How do I begin saving? How do I begin investing? And what does that look like? Obviously, the first piece is the emergency fund. You got to have that go-to, that bucket to pull from when life happens, because it's gonna happen. You need to have that cash on hand in savings, true savings, to pull from. Beyond that, it's very simple to either begin like your own IRA, or if you have a workplace retirement account, a plan available to you, like a 401k, a Roth 401k, something like that. That is an easy win. Like begin contributing there, especially if you have the employer match, because that's free money. Don't leave that on the table. Take that and if we're talking about making your money work for you, that is a great place to begin, because you're putting money into those accounts. Your employer is matching those. You're multiplying the impact of your dollars, because you're combining your funds with what your employer is giving, but then you're also allowing that to grow over time through investing. It's going to make more of what you've got.
Right, and I don't know about you, Spike, but anytime I'm going anywhere, I have to have this. I have to have my phone that's mapped out.
I was about to admonish you, say, Jay, put your phone down. We're recording the show.
I'm going through and like, how do I get directions to a certain place, right? You can see, show me how to get there, especially if I've never been in a city, right? If I've never been in a city and I'm like, I need to know how to eat, at a restaurant that I want to eat at, right? How do I get there? I don't just blindly walk around until I'm going to get hangry really easy, right? Like
you don't want that. Yeah. You don't want hangry, Jay.
And so I need a turn-by-turn GPS. And folks, if you do not have an assignment for your dollars like that, if you don't have a turn-by-turn GPS for your dollars, they will get away from you. They will be gone. Yeah. And so we want to make sure that, like Brittany said, there's a difference between savings. Those buckets of monies have their job. There's an investment bucket. Those dollars have their job. There's a spending bucket. Those dollars have their job, right? Everywhere you look, we want to make sure that every dollar is doing their job. You have to have a turn-by-turn GPS for that. You have to have a spending plan. And so I walk folks through the simplicity of showing your income. Here's how you tell every dollar where to go and how to work. And it really does make a huge difference.
Tell me what you both think of this. I was just thinking, as you're talking about it, imagine starting a business, coming up with the building and the plan, hiring a whole bunch of employees, and then not having any jobs for them.
Yeah.
So the business, you said saving is one thing, investing, giving it a purpose, and this company, my fake company here, would need a goal. Now, the goal, of course, is to get to retirement, but the goal is also to have income and live a lifestyle. Purpose for these jobs of the money. It's not just about piling it up to get to a certain number, is it?
Yeah, it's not just about the number. It's about what you're able to do with that number. Does that number sustain your lifestyle? Does it fulfill the purpose that your life has, right? Money is just a tool. So many people have this drive just for more, but it's not going to fulfill you. It's not going to, give you what you're searching for just to get more. It's about being able to use what you have to live out the life and the purpose that you live with. And so using that, viewing it properly is part of this whole beginning and foundational step, right? Viewing our dollars properly, viewing our money through the proper lens.
Right.
But then making it work. Because we want to take what we have. Yes, we all want to make more of it. We all want to grow it. We all want to put it to work for us. I mean, we say if you don't put your money to work, you'll spend your whole life working for it. And that's kind of the point of this whole retirement conversation is getting to the place to where we can shift our patterns a bit and work doesn't have to look like it used to.
And so once we've given our dollars jobs and we have peace of mind about knowing how each of these dollars are working for us, we talk a lot about the investment arm, right? Because we start out of the 5 components of financial planning, investment management. So how do we start that? Well, most of us have a 401k or employee-sponsored plan or something like that. If you do, we tell you, go there first. Put money away in that 401k and that 403b, that 457. Why? Because a lot of times you get employer matches. And what does employer matches do? It gives us free cash. And so you may be missing 3, 4, 5, 6% on your money just because you're not putting it in the right bucket. And so we always tell folks, start with the investment arm. If you have an employee-sponsored plan, put it there. If not, and you're self-employed, we have a lot of small business owners. We start things like SEP IRAs that you can put away a lot of money into these accounts, tax deferred and even tax free, so that you can grow the money and make sure the investment arm is working for you.
And to that point, one of the questions we get all the time, Jay, is about, do I put money into a Roth IRA or a traditional IRA? Which one is better, right? And it's not really, that's kind of the wrong question. It's not just about which is better, because they both have value. It's utilizing both in tandem at the right times. So utilizing tax law to your benefit. When does it make the most sense to pay taxes now versus later? When does it make the most sense to delay or defer taxes on a certain portion of money? Looking at your annual income, making decisions in light of your annual income, and multiple factors together will help kind of create this strategy to determine how much you should put into when. So it's not one or the other, it's both and.
One of the things, that's a big question. We want to make our money work, and every time I think of work, then I also think about taxes.
Yes.
So we've got to think about which tax strategy we're going to use. I know right now on the bottom of the screen we have a phone number. I'd like to bring up a quiz real quick. Let's see how nimble our team is. Man, they're sharp today. If you go to exchangemytaxbill.com, you'll be able to put in a couple of inputs and see how much you owe right now in all of your tax-deferred savings accounts. You're going to get that report. And then you can call the phone number when that comes back up, and we'll schedule a time for you to try to figure out how to get your money to work for you without having to pay too much in taxes as well. Call that number. More of the Allon Exchange with Jay and Brittany right after this.
Hi, I'm Jay Hagee, owner of Allon Planning Partners. Well, you've probably heard a lot about Roth conversions lately. First of all, what are they? And second of all, how could they benefit you? A Roth conversion means getting your money out of those tax-deferred accounts like 401ks and traditional IRAs where you've been kicking the tax can down the road for so many years. But really, the question should be, is kicking it down the road really in your best interest? You have a partner in those deferred accounts. It's Uncle Sam. And Uncle Sam is going to take his cut from every dime that grows in that account when you decide to take it out. So let's give Uncle Sam the boot from those retirement accounts and let every penny of future growth be tax-free. Well, with the highest national debt we've ever seen, taxes are not likely to decrease anytime soon, placing a giant tax bullseye on your back. So a Roth conversion is getting your money out of those tax-deferred accounts, paying the taxes now while they're on sale, by the way, and then getting them into accounts where your future dollars can grow tax-free the rest of your life. To experience this tax-free retirement, you do need to sit down with a fiduciary, someone who specializes in retirement planning. So just call the number you see here or scan the QR code and let us help remove that tax bullseye off of your back.
Welcome back to the Allon Exchange with Jay and Brittany Hagee, financial advisors of the Allon Planning Partners. I am Spike Spangle. Today, we want to really make sure that your money is working for you. What about folks, though, who are a little bit nervous about the up and downs of the markets? We've seen a lot more volatility lately. Is that as big of a concern when we're 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 years away from retirement?
Yeah.
Do we want to stop investing in that? There's a lot of unease
I
there.
get it. Well, correct allocation is important when you get closer to retirement, but there's 2 important mistakes that you do not want to make. The first one is don't stop investing, because it's not about intensity, it's about consistency over time. I believe we have a chart that I want to put up talking about this concept of dollar cost averaging. And so when you dollar cost average over time, if you can see the top chart versus the bottom chart, you just lump sum $12,000 at the beginning of the year into X stock, right? You get 480 shares, you paid $25 a share for. The top is that you systematically put $1,000 a month in over the whole year. So whether the share price is up, whether the share price is down, you're putting that $1,000 a month in every month. And at the end of the year, you actually average $19.44, and you have 617 shares versus the 480 shares if you just dumped it all in at one time. And so intensity is a good thing for people who are like, man, I really want to go get it. But it's kind of like going to the gym over time. You can go really hard for a week and probably, wear your body out and see a little results. But if you consistently go week over week over week over week for a year, you're going to see huge results, right? The same with dollar cost averaging. So do not stop investing. Invest dollars over time, not really just intense at once, like, man, I got to get started, so I'm going to dump all my life savings into the market at one time. We want to make sure that you continually, consistently average into the market.
I truly would have thought putting your money in, let's say first week of the year, oh boy, I want my money to work all year long. But by getting that average price of whatever those shares are over time, it was actually a better investment strategy. And I do get it. It's like everybody that you see at the gym in the beginning of January, everybody pumping up on weights, and then they're not there the rest of the year.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, I mean, and it really, really makes a difference. It's one small decision, one small right financial decision layered in on another, layered in on, like over time, right? Consistency trumps intensity. That's what it is about when it comes to this whole concept. You talked about weightlifting. It's the same with our health. You can look at it within any area of our lives. It's not really about I'm going to do this one major decision right now. No, it's about layering one good decision on another, which requires discipline. The D word that nobody likes to talk about because it feels hard and structured and rigid. But it doesn't have to be, because what it actually produces is freedom. It produces the flexibility that you need. It produces more of what you're working to obtain. So if you can really build that consistency into your financial strategies, you will see the fruit of that.
Yeah, so what we're telling folks is do not stop investing, stay consistent, stay disciplined, and also stay invested, because we've seen the headlines lately. It's up and down and everywhere. And then one day the market's down 1,000 points, and the next day it's up 1,000 points, right? Like, it's a lot of volatility, but it's really about staying invested over time. Your behavior, whether you believe it or not, your behavior matters more than the market's behavior, because the markets are going to go through cycles.
Yeah.
It's us trying to pull in and out and in and out and in and out. I got to perfectly time this thing because I don't want to lose a dollar. That really hurts you over time. I have one more chart that I want to show you. Here's going to prove my point. This chart shows a 20-year period from 2005 to 2024. If you would have invested $100,000 into the market at the beginning of 2005 and just left it, stayed invested. Now listen, we went through 2008, we went through the crazy crashes there, we went through COVID, we went through a lot of ups and downs in the market between those periods. Your $100,000 would have been $717,000 today if you would have just left it alone and let the markets do its thing. But if you would have just missed 5 days, if you would have gotten nervous during the 2008 crash and said, you know what, I'm out, and I pulled out, and I'm going to get back in eventually, but I'm out, and you missed the 5 best days of the market, which typically happen on the lowest parts of the market, right? It's when they rebound. And so if you would have missed that, you would have only had about $450,000 left in your account.
Wait a minute, missing 5 days in 20 years, the best 5 days, your earnings were cut in half?
Drastic
Almost
impact.
half. Yeah, and so one more thing I want to show on that chart, if you would have missed the top 25 days, and out of 20 years, we're talking 25 days, you would have only made $58,000 on your initial investment versus the $617,000 you would have made on your investment if you'd have left it alone. So folks, stay invested. This chart is proof to you. Do not try to perfectly time the market. Don't worry about the ups and the downs. Stay invested, and stay invested appropriately for your allocation and risk tolerance. That matters. But this all in, all out game, this I'm going to perfectly time the market, I'm going to go to cash, and then I'm going to go all in, and then I'm going to go to cash again, and then I'm going to go to the biggest sector that's going to hit. It never happens. And then this chart will absolutely show you that. Don't let the headlines rule your market strategy.
Yeah, and if you feel like I want to pull out, or I'm afraid, I want to, move everything to something safer. If you are feeling that, you probably are not positioned the way you should be. So it's not always just this blanket stay invested no matter what. No, it's stay invested with your long-term funds, but with appropriate risk, right? That is the whole key here, because we don't want to say stay invested to someone who is invested in a way that is going to be detrimental to them because of the stage of life they're in, because of the assets that they're holding, because of the things that's happening within the market, all of those factors considered. So this is where the allocation conversation really comes into play.
Yeah.
It matters how you are invested and how much risk you are taking. So if you're uneasy and it's causing you to really say, hey, I want to pull out, this is too much, then you probably are not invested properly. We need to have a conversation about what that should look like for you moving forward, so that you do have peace and ease, and not this wringing your hands, stress anytime the market.
Yeah, I vividly remember Spike showing this chart to a client, and it was a couple years ago, so it wasn't all the way to 24. But back in 22, we had about a 25% loss in the market. I showed a chart like this to a client who was saying, I want all out, I'm putting my money under the mattress. And I begged them, I said, do not do this. I said, let's stay invested. No, properly, to Brittany's point, let's stay allocated correctly, but stay invested. Do not pull all out. Well, they were a little bit hesitant, but they allowed us to continue investments. Now, fast forward to today, just a couple years later, we are at all-time highs in the market. They are doing way better than they thought they would have done. The market's behavior did not change. Their behavior changed. Your behavior matters more than the market's behavior. And you have to make sure that you're staying the course, you're dollar cost averaging, you're putting money in consistently over time, you're staying disciplined, and you're also not making knee-jerk reactions emotionally and just getting all out of the market.
This is where having the right coach matters.
That's right.
That's what you were in that moment. You were the right coach for them to help them see what play to make in the moment, right? Do I pull out? Do I make some adjustments? Or do I hold? Do I wait, right? Those calls are major, as that chart clearly illustrates.
Yeah.
Your moves, when you experience gains or losses in the market, matter huge. This is the behavioral coaching piece that we spend a lot of our time in this role doing, helping folks know when and how to make those moves, if they need to change strategy, if they need to pivot, or if it's, hey, you're on the right path. Like this is going to get you to the destination you're wanting, and you just got to hold fast in it. That's the coaching we do.
That's right.
Jay and Brittany here are not talking about not doing anything. They're talking about having an approach, knowing your purpose of what you're doing, why you're saving, and where you're saving. If you don't know what your purpose is, call the phone number right now on the bottom of the screen. Set up your time. Or if you want, you can scan this QR code with your phone, open it up to the camera function. When it activates, click on it. You can go schedule your own time right there. More with Jay and Brittany right after this.
I'm Brad Johansson with Brittany Hagee, and in a minute, Britt, new tax and retirement rule changes for 26.
Yeah, every year brings new updates and tax brackets. Retirement contribution limits, tax planning rules, they all change. 2026 is no exception. Many households may see changes in deductions, income thresholds, or how retirement distributions and contributions are treated. Small adjustments like these can impact how much you owe or how much you're able to save in taxes. That's why this is a great time to review your withholdings. confirm your retirement contribution levels, and talk with an independent advisor about how these changes affect your strategy. Staying informed and planning ahead can help you avoid surprises and keep more of your hard-earned money in your pocket.
I love it. Change. This minute ends here, but the real planning begins when you reach out to Allon Planning Partners, because your story deserves more than a minute.
You worked hard to earn your Social Security benefits. The age you choose to file can significantly impact what you receive over time. Filing too early may reduce your income, while waiting could increase it, but there's no one-size-fits-all strategy. Understanding your personal numbers is the key. Scan the QR code or visit waitorfile.com to get your personalized Social Security report. It will show what's at stake between your different filing options. Getting the proper guidance could make a meaningful difference in your retirement.
Welcome back. You are with Jay and Brittany Hagee of Allon Planning Partners, your financial advisors. I'm Spike Spangle. We're trying to make sure that you're comfortable in these volatile market times right now. And it might feel a little uneasy. You know, you're 1 or 2 years away from retirement. And you're saying, just go ahead dollar cost averaging into those accounts. But we also want to make sure we're not trying to time the market, as you were saying before, missing it. What about literally just the compounding of the assets that we're choosing, letting them work for you?
Well, if we're talking about making our money work for us, that's kind of the overarching concept of today's show. We've got to learn how to make more of what we have, actually put our money to work. Yes, in the markets, yes, that's exactly what we're talking about, but utilizing those tools to our benefit. And what we need here is time in the market. So I've got a chart here that I actually want to show you. This is really illustrating the power of compound interest and how when you put your money in and you allow it to work for you, you're not having to do anything, it's working for you, the end result here. So in this chart, you're gonna see Ben and Joey, two folks who began investing, okay? They both, Ben starts investing at age 21, and he invests $2,400 every year. And he contributes that all the way till age 30. So that's only 9 years. Total he contributes is a little over $21,000. Now let's compare Joey. Joey starts investing at the age of 30, so a little bit later in life. And he also invests the same amount as Ben, $2,400 every year. But he contributes every year until he turns 67. So he's investing a total of 37 years, over $88,000 that he is contributing to this, okay? Total contributed $88,000. Now, over that time period, let's get all the way down to where they're 67, okay? At age 67, Joey's investment has grown to $1.2 million, where Ben's investment has grown to $2 million. The difference here is time in the market. The guy who put less dollars in ended up with more in the end. Not because he contributed more, clearly, because of the time that those funds worked for him. Now, this is not a new concept for all of us, right? We are all familiar with, you put your money in the market and make it work for you. But this is really important because we talk about this whole legacy component of our conversation when it comes to the 5 pillars of planning: investment and taxes and healthcare and you know all of these things. Income, estate planning is a piece of that. And this is a way that we can really help the generation behind us who we may not be that age, but they are. We can pour that into them and show them, man, this is what you can build over time. Help our children, our grandchildren begin contributing to these accounts. Roth IRAs, start a Roth IRA for your grandkids, or better yet, teach them how to do it. Teach them how to take their money and actually put it to work and utilize that to grow over time, and see how that doesn't set them up.
Brittany,
for
I have to say the light bulb came on for me, because even when we started talking about compounding, I thought, well, our audience might be saying, well, that ship has passed. You know, that was my working years.
Right.
But we can apply this to the very beginning of our
I mean,
retirement.
Our legacy.
Yeah.
We can talk about our retirement. This is the beginning. Why wait to
chapter.
be invested? Because
That's
we could be
right.
talking about 30 years of
30 years from
retirement.
now. That's
And who
correct.
doesn't want to help their kids and grandkids like navigate this? So yes, what you're doing for you, but also what you can pass on to the next generation. Because it's not just dollars we want to pass on to our, our kids and our grandkids. It's values, it's education, it's knowledge, it's wisdom. This is a way that we can actually coach them and help them. Begin early, right? Begin early and see the impact it makes. And hopefully, maybe even you're one of those who did that, and now you're reaping the benefits of that. And if not, maybe you started later in life and you've built, where you are from that. As well, and we can help formulate a plan for you moving forward.
And that's why that illustration alone, Albert Einstein said compounding interest is the 8th wonder of the world. Like, if you know about it and you understand it, you earn it. If you do not understand it, you pay it. Yeah. Like, that's the big deal. You have to understand how compounding interest works. And I love your point, Spike. If you're starting retirement right now, you may have 30 years. So this absolutely does apply to you. The compound interest over the next 30 years is what's going to make the money work for you going forward in retirement. And so we have to make sure that we continue investing, that we stay invested appropriately, and we allow compounding interest to do its work over time. People, and me included, all of us, we want microwave results, but it's really the crock pot that produces all the flavor, right? And so the compounding interest, you have to let it cook over time. You have to let it do its job. It's not always going to be a microwave result where I can get in and get out and make all of this money. You have to let the markets work for you, and that's how you let your money work for you as well.
Jay, I can't believe you didn't think of the slow smoking a brisket.
I did. Think of that again.
Yeah, it was microwave or letting it roast. But what I really love is the positive nature of the message here is that even if you feel like you're behind or you didn't get it right, if our retirement is 25, 30 years, we've got a long time to let this grow and work for you.
Big on ramp still.
Use it to your advantage.
Right. All right. Thank you so very much for watching today's program. Now I'm going to give you just a couple of things to do. Both of them are free, fast, easy for you to do. First, you can call the phone number right now down on the bottom of the screen and get started on your own portfolio review, your income plan, your tax plan, and your estate planning conversation for you, your family, tailored completely for your situation. So you can dial that number, or you can use this QR code over here, open up your phone to the camera function, point it at that little black and white box, and then click on it. It'll take you right over to the website. You can schedule your time right there. Thank you for watching the Allon Exchange with Jay and Brittany Hagee, financial advisors of Allon Planning Partners.